When you make an attack with a weapon or a spell that has an attack roll as indicated in the spell's description, your character needs to make an attack roll. This is done by rolling a 20-sided die, or in the case of Baldur's Gate 3, a random number between 1 and 20 is generated, and then you add some modifiers. The modifiers added are your proficiency bonus if you are proficient with the weapon you are using, and in the case of spells it is always added, plus the ability modifier for the attack roll. Your proficiency bonus starts off at +2 and then increases by 1 for every 4 character levels after level 1, so that means at level 5 it goes up to +3 and at level 9 it goes up to +4. Note that if you multi-class, let's say 2 levels of Warlock and 3 levels of a Sorcerer, your proficiency bonus will still be +3 since your total character level is 5. The ability modifier for melee weapons is Strength, unless a weapon has the Finesse property, in which case Dexterity will be used if the Dexterity is higher than Strength. However, Finesse weapons do not have to use the Dexterity modifier if your Strength is higher, which is something that is often forgotten. Ranged weapons will always use the Dexterity modifier, and thrown weapons use Strength at the making of this video. For spells, the ability modifier depends on the source of the spell, which in most cases will be from your class. So for example here, this is a cleric, it will use Wisdom, but there are other sources of spells such as your race or a feat. The description of the spell will tell you what ability modifier is added if it's outside of your class. So for example, this firebolt comes from being a half high elf and has intelligence here because this character doesn't normally use intelligence. The target number you're aiming for depends on the enemy and their armor class. So in this case, Lurgan, we can find out his armor class is 18, so I need a combined total of 18 to actually score a hit. I rolled a 7, had my proficiency of 2, wisdom of 3, the total was 12, so it ended up as a miss. Now there are ways of actually having other modifiers to your attack roll. I'm not going to go through every single one because there are quite a lot. To start with, weapon enchantment here. Some weapons have a weapon enchantment. This is +1, so the weapon receives a +1 bonus to attack rolls and deals +1 bonus damage. So there's an extra +1 here, which is from the weapon enchantment. Another common source of having a bonus to your attack roll is having high ground. So if I try to attack Get Cold here, we can see it says high ground at the top, and that adds a +2 bonus. If we have low ground, we have a -2 bonus. The level 1 spell Bless, which clerics and paladins get access to, adds a 1d4 bonus to your attack roll. So that means every time an attack roll is made, random bonus between 1 and 4 is added. Now that doesn't sound like much, but actually it is really quite a lot because armor classes don't improve hugely over the game. Plus Bless also helps with saving throws, which is the matter for another video. If you have a source of advantage, such as attacking from hiding, instead of adding a bonus, you get to roll the attack roll die twice and then take the highest value. So down here, I rolled a 14. This advantage means actually another die was rolled, and 14 was the highest of the two. There are loads and loads of sources of advantage, and that really deserves its own video. And disadvantage does the opposite to that. So you roll 2 d20s and you take the lowest value. Some sources of disadvantage are wearing armor you're not proficient in. To do double check that, it's been a common complaint against Astarion. Here, Astarion is wearing medium armor, but I have given him moderately armored feet, so he can actually wear medium armor without having disadvantage on his attack rolls. This is a Githyanki. She does not have dark vision, and since the target is obscured, I have disadvantage on the attack roll. And lastly, trying to use a ranged attack while inside the threatened range of an enemy also gives you disadvantage. And here it says target too close / threatens. So after all of these bonuses, after the die is rolled, if you hit, you do some damage. Damage you do is determined by the weapon or spell that you are using. You get to add your ability modifier to weapon attacks. This +1 comes from the weapon enchantment. Plus, there are some other ways of adding damage to weapon attacks. One here is having the weapon dipped in poison. Sometimes damage can be resisted, in which case the damage done is halved. And if there are any fractions, then the damage gets rounded down. And lastly, on an attack roll, as shown just there, if you roll a 20, it doesn't matter what other modifiers you have a critical hit, and the damage die or dice of the attack, whether it's a spell or weapon, get doubled. It is also possible to get a critical miss where you roll a 1, and no matter what modifiers you will have a miss. But that has been a quick guide to attack rolls. Let me know if that's been helpful, and if there's another topic you want me to cover. Thank you to all the members of my channel. If you've made it this far, please consider subscribing, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.